We are back. P-Valley is back, y'all. Stay tuned for this review. Yes, y'all. Woohoo! We are back. Nerdy Girl Reviews is back, and we are back with a recap for P-Valley Season 2. Now, unfortunately, my Season 1 review is not on YouTube. It's on Instagram because I moved slowly. And we have been away from our precious P-Valley for almost 2 years, and we're back for its Season 2 premiere. If you would like to see and hear the full commentary, keep it locked here on YouTube. If you're watching this on Instagram, click the link in bio. If you're watching this on IG Stories, click on the link. It'll link you back to my YouTube channel. I'm also available on TikTok under Nerdygirlreviews. And if you'd like to hear more of my commentary, find me on sofritoforyoursoul.com. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's play this out. Y'all liking the pink? The pink. Stay tuned, y'all. Alright, be right back. Yes, bum, 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 bum. You know my Dollar Tree props, y'all. I was gonna showcase them. Yes, we are back. We are back. Let's get some ambiance on. So we get some cool lighting. I'm doing my best Keyshawn, you know, showing up the P-Valley Selena inspired bustier. And yes, my glitter bunny ears, very a la Playboy, which I feel like we're kind of going towards that direction, but we'll explain that in a little bit. We're back. We're finally back. A number of other reviewers have mentioned on YouTube, who have been loyal fans like I have from the very beginning, how much this show was needed and missed. You know, we have the old episodes, but again, soon after whole lockdown, which honestly, the way that they made their debut was perfect timing. Everybody was home. But aside from that, it's not because like there was nothing else to watch. This is a show that you want to watch. The characters are that interesting. And not for nothing, I have missed Uncle Clifford. Uncle Clifford's character, who is played brilliantly by Nico Anand. He is so fabulous in this show. He gives me Lafayette vibes, because honestly, as like what they consider Yankees, right? Us in the East North Coast, our only references of what we've seen of Southern life has been True Blood, and not that he's a spitting image of Lafayette. He is his own entity, but there are instances that I am reminded of Lafayette's character. Mercedes too, like we have Mercedes come back, and we see how also past that cliffhanger, if you have not seen season 1, please do yourself a service and watch season 1 so you can kind of be caught up and you understand like why Mercedes is returning, and we're thankful that she is, but in a much more vulnerable state than when she first made her debut. In season 1, she was just, you know, I'm that boss bitch. I save my money. I save my stacks. Season 2, we see a much more humbled, reserved version of herself. And then we also see that, not for nothing, they did a brilliant job to illustrate to us what not only Southern life was, but during COVID. They did not shy away COVID, and in fact, they shot during COVID. I think once they started going into production, the vaccines were just rolling out, so it was still very, you know, protocol for the staff, for the actors, and so the way they went about this whole thing was so brilliant. And not to mention that it's very truthful to life. You have to think that a lot of these places that really require a crowd, bars, restaurant, strip clubs, requires an audience. It requires for people to be in person. what they had to do to survive and not totally belly flop into bankruptcy. And so they did an incredible job doing that, illustrating that. We also see the aspect of our character Andre, who's our famous lawyer here in season 1. And hold on a sec. Yes, Andre Watkins, played by Parker Sawyers, and he is the it's not grandbaby. I think he took him in, but definitely his great granddaddy. I think that's what he calls him. That's his term. Of Mayor Tydell Ruffin, who's played famously here by Isaiah Washington. If you are not familiar with Isaiah, which you must be living under a rock, if you don't remember him from Love Jones, I mean, these are literally, our working actors have been in the game for like 30 plus years, and he ain't not for nothing. No shade. If it wasn't for the grays and that he shaves off in this season, you wouldn't know his age. Like they say, it don't crack. And I don't even know how old he is, but I know he must be in the mature ages by now. But he does an incredible job playing this mayor, this southern Chucalissa, Mississippi. And but like I said, the storyline this season, plays very much into real life. We see how also not only did COVID affect all these businesses, but also just health wise. Unfortunately, Isaiah's character of Mayor Ruffin, passes. He's deceased because of COVID, and we go into also how fear and misinformation can really snowball into not procuring for one's life and health. And so he probably opted for not getting the vaccine. Now, again, I'm not trying to politicize this channel, and to, I know where I am in terms of the stance of the vaccines, but I don't want to concentrate too much of it. But I think this was the showrunners' way of, basically focusing on the fear, misconceptions, and how that can also turn into conspiracy theories, basically. Nonetheless, we also see how life is for Mississippi. Miss Mississippi, here played by Shannon Thornton. She's wonderful. I mean, she honestly, the name of, like a lot of us, I'm sorry, I get confused myself when I'm trying to spell Mississippi, so that whole M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I, hump, that, honestly, for anybody who has a horrible time trying to even get near to the spelling of Mississippi, had it spelled out for you in that particular song. Which, again, that's why I say season 1 is so crucial to watch. We are introduced to Little Murder, who is our precocious up and coming trap rapper, and his song, Mississippi Pride, and the other famous song too, I forget the name of it now, Over Love, which he dedicates to Uncle this is who he dedicates it to, Uncle Clifford. And that's the greatness about this show also, because it doesn't shy away from taboo subjects of homophobia, of gay love, of pride, how in these really conservative states will focus on misinformation and judging others to the point where relationships like this don't have the space to bloom. There's an interesting episode, I think it's episode 7 in season 1, where Clifford is getting better acquainted with Little Murder, and Little Murder seems like he's really open and willing to kind of go public, but he makes it very clear to him that it's not a safe option. You know, these Bible Belt states where, you know, for heaven's sake, look what, where season 1 was and left off, and we pick up in season 2. Look what's happened in the media, and for heaven's sake, you're not encouraged to even say the word gay. Just tells you, and also how it affects legislation. I wonder if there is, and I'm praying that there's a season 3, if they'll weave that into the story. But it's amazing to me, you know, how you have to live your life under wraps and obscurity. And it's almost like we have been, although we have gotten so far in terms of technology and whatever exists in the world, for heaven's sake, a lot of them were able to make a living off of online, right? Mississippi, Keyshawn was able to, like a lot of women did who work in as a sex worker, and that's what it is, and proudly, because again, regardless of what she's doing, which not for nothing, that is such an athletic, like, to me, after a while, once you start watching enough episodes, you can see that these women are like almost like athletes. They have the way they have to jump on that pole, and the amount of spinning that they have to do, the pressure on your core, on your muscles. And that's why we are also seeing our Mercedes character going through issues of her arm, because it's been months of doing this just to make a decent living. But getting back to Keyshawn, she's been able to do X amount of dancing in the privacy of her own home via Instagram. People were getting paid through Instagram, and people were also getting paid by OnlyFans pages. I mean, it was to the point where it was like getting, for some, like to the point of 6 figures just by doing what they already do, but online. So even though we've advanced technological in the technological sense, we've gone backwards in terms of our legislation and how this country is functioning today. That you can no longer say even the word gay. That's ridiculous. Or the fact that they want to even roll back Roe versus Wade. I don't know if that'll also be filtered in for this season. Probably not, because none of the scandal of what we're seeing in the news today I think they had already wrapped. So it might, if there is, I'm praying for season 3, they'll probably weave it into what life would be for P-Valley if things like that keep escalating in our government. But it is so wonderful. We are introduced to how we pick up where we left off with these characters and how they are combating best COVID, and they came up with the brilliant idea of Pussyland. Sorry, I try to be as I try to edit, and not mention too many cuss words on my channel, but that's in fact that's the name of the first episode, Pussyland, because they needed to come up with a way to sustain their staff and maintain their club open, because again, these jobs require a crowd and socializing and a bar, and if you can't do that, how do you make a living? So they came up with a car wash concept, which was brilliant, and